This is not a ride-sharing video. I repeat, this is not a ride-sharing video. What up, folks? Once again, it is your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. Today we're going to be talking about an interesting topic. Now, we've titled the video Presidential Accountability Laws. I understand some folks are like, what the hell is that? This is going to come across as a dig at the former President Trump. Nevertheless, to my beloved MAGA viewers, understand this has nothing to do specifically with Trump, but I certainly can understand how someone might come to that conclusion. When we talk about presidential accountability laws, even though we're not aiming this at Trump, I'm going to be asking a question, three different questions. One, do you believe a felon, if someone is found guilty of a felony and is now officially deemed as a felon, should that prevent them from being president? Remember, this is not a dig at Trump, but it's going to come up because obviously he's dealing with court cases. Number two, should a commander-in-chief, if found guilty of a crime or is being investigated for a crime, be able to pardon themselves of said crime? Once again, not a dig at Trump, but folks are going to look at it that way because he is someone that this could apply to. And last but not least, probably the strongest question we could ask, should it be possible or totally out of the question for a commander-in-chief to serve this country while actually incarcerated? Those are the three questions we're asking. Should having a felony prevent you from running for office? Should being commander-in-chief absolve you from the ability to pardon yourself? And do you agree or disagree that you can serve as commander-in-chief while actually incarcerated? As always, folks, this program is indeed MAGA friendly. It will remain MAGA friendly in its entirety. Liberals are welcome as well. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone for their commentary. So understand, when you come in the box, we're not going to limit your opinion simply because you disagree with the host. Nobody gives a damn if you disagree with the host. You're entitled to your First Amendment free speech rights on this program all day, every day. Looking in the comments, Bone Spur in Chief. Wow, you guys are already hard. Dumb questions. It's obvious. Well, none ya. It's not obvious. It's not obvious because in 2023, some 200 plus years after the founding fathers deemed this great nation functional, we don't have clear-cut answers to that. So it's not obvious. Otherwise, they would have tackled this in the beginning. It's totally not obvious. We're going to go straight to the box. If you're a felon, you cannot vote. Right. But you can run the country and be someone the voters can select. All right, going straight to the box, Sir Chauncey. Good afternoon. Chauncey, welcome to the program. By the way, folks, tap the screen. Get your boy up to 5,000 likes on this lovely Friday afternoon. Helps out the algorithm, brings in more MAGA. You know what we do. Good afternoon, Sir Chauncey.
Hey, good afternoon, handsome liberal. Thank you again for joining me.
Appreciate that. So what do you think? Should a commander-in-chief be able to run the country while incarcerated?
Absolutely not. Just like how felons cannot vote once they're incarcerated, it should be the same thing for a president. It's kind of a silly question that we actually have to deal with something like this in this day and age, and we actually going to have a potential president that could be a felon and still be president.
What about the notion of being able to pardon yourself?
Absolutely not either. But, this is something that Donald Trump, can do and possibly will do. He done some crazy stuff while he was in office, and I can see him doing that too if he get elected.
Yeah. Okay, so what if folks believe, since we're bringing up Trump, what if folks believe, listen, he wouldn't be a felon, he wouldn't be incarcerated, he wouldn't have to pardon himself if there were not so many witch hunts? What if you truly believe that the person is innocent?
Those people, they're just crazy people. This man, he's not innocent from everything. Some stuff, maybe it could be a witch hunt if they want to say it's a witch hunt. I don't think so. Just the stuff that he did in the past is coming to the light finally.
Yeah. But let me ask you this question, just for shits and giggles. And I get your point about some of the things he may have done in the past. Do you believe if Trump wasn't such a boisterous person, flinging insults and things like that around, they would still have charged a former commander in chief with that stuff?
Definitely a good question. Yeah, they would have still skeletons in the closet are always going to fall out eventually. So eventually they were still going to fall out.
Well, you do realize Bill Clinton's closet is so full of skeletons, he got a spare closet. He hasn't been charged with anything.
Yeah, I guess I see what you're saying, but I guess well, with Donald Trump, it's just he's just wasn't a good guy all around. So it was just going to fall out eventually. I don't think Bill Clinton's skeletons was as much as Donald Trump's.
Well, but you're kind of playing into what I asked, and that is, if Trump wasn't such a, impersonable guy, would he have been? Let's say he was Barack Obama or he was Bill Clinton, but he had the same skeletons. You think he still would have faced criminal charges and all of this stuff?
They should. Well, I will hope they should, but
That ain't what I'm asking you, though. I'm not saying they should. Do you think it would have happened?
possibly eventually. But with Donald Trump, it kind of escalated faster because of his personality.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you at all. However, when he says a witch hunt or he says he's being treated unfairly, our system is not supposed to operate based on they don't like your attitude. If you committed a crime, you go after the guy. You don't pick and choose because I don't like his attitude. I'm gonna hold him accountable. You get what I'm saying? Okay, my last caller, I guess he got a phone call. All right, we're moving on. Nevertheless, that is what we're asking today, by the way. Tap the screens, let your thumbs not be lazy. Get your boy up to 10,000 likes, 800 plus of you in here. You could be anywhere you be on this app. It's always an honor having you here with yours truly. Question we're asking: should a felon, if you have a felony on your record, should a felon be prevented from running for office or being president? What if the president is under investigation? Should he have the right, the ability to pardon himself? And last but not least, if he is actually incarcerated behind the iron curtain known as bars, should he be absolutely prevented from being commander in chief? These are some crazy ass questions. Nevertheless, they are legitimate because right now we don't have answers to that. So I'm on here asking the viewers, asking you personally, do you think this stuff should stop anyone, not Trump specifically, but anyone from running for office? Looking in the comments, Trump will never actually get incarcerated. Millennial Mom, I agree with that. Having a felony does not make you a bad person. Well, tell that to all the librarians and burger flippers that couldn't get a damn job because they got a felony on their record. Having a felony does not make you a bad person. Well, then why the hell can't you vote in a host of states if you got a felony on your record? Remember, it doesn't make you a bad person. So why we're treating so many people like they're bad people? It can't be different when it's aimed at the commander in chief. We know, all of us do, whether you have a felony or not. You know for certain in this country we treat felons like shit, oftentimes for the rest of their lives. Going back to the box, we'll keep it moving with Jose, can't you see? Jose, can't you love the name? Good afternoon, Jose.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for letting me up. I appreciate it.
Absolute, not a problem at all. First time talking?
Yeah, first time talking.
All right, well, let's get into it. So what do you think? Do you think having a felony should stop you from being president?
No, I think. Well, I mean, I think in the doesn't it say in the Constitution that you, no matter what, you have to serve office if you get elected into the presidency. I think the only thing that stops you if you're a felon is voting. I think that's the only
But
hindrance.
does that
And
make, think
sorry.
about what you just said, though. If I have a felony, I cannot vote, but I can take the position that you vote to put me in. Does that make sense?
No, it doesn't. I think if you did the time for the crime, you should be able to vote. I don't see why your voting rights should be taken away permanently. If your freedom is restored, then the freedom to vote should be restored too.
Okay. What about the ability to possibly pardon yourself while under investigation for a crime?
That's a little tricky for me because I don't see how you could pardon yourself for a crime. That one, I don't have a nuance for that because I don't know that we've ever faced that question in the past. So it's
We ain't fa-
I mean
fact is we haven't faced any. Fact is
yeah,
we haven't
it's like
faced any of
asking.
this shit. That's why we're asking the question.
I mean
None of this
it's
has
like
been faced.
it's like having a judge who commits a crime judge his own case. Would we allow that? It should go to a different body. It doesn't seem right that the person who commits a crime, whether it's Trump or whoever it is, that they are allowed to basically free themselves. That
Well,
doesn't
but
make
wait a minute.
any
They
sense.
don't always have to be freeing themselves. You could, let's say, for instance, I'm serving in office and I've lost the last election or my terms are over with. And right before I'm about to leave office, some of my competitors start raising questions about some federal crimes that I've committed. And they're talking about potentially having an investigation. You can pardon yourself before you're convicted of anything. So you can give yourself a blanket pardon on your way out of office so that if they do investigate something you did while you were in charge, the pardon is already on the books. Should that be allowed?
No, 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 no. I don't think a person who's the target of investigation should have the power to basically exonerate themselves. Yeah, there,
Fair
there
enough.
should be
And
some. There
once
should.
it,
I think there should be some kind of body in place to determine whether
right,
whether that's you can they should be exonerated or not.
right. And I got the last question. I think based on your previous answers, I think I kind of know where you're going to go. But last but not least, I have to ask this because once again, it is a legitimate issue. Should the commander in chief have the ability to run the country even if incarcerated?
Well, that's what the Constitution says. So, I mean, I'm going by. Do I think it should? Personally, no. However, the Constitution says that they cannot be prevented from being an elected from being president. They have to fulfill that duty if the people vote for that person. So, if that's what it says, then that's what it is. You can be unhappy about it, but that's what it is.
Yeah. Any idea if you had to give your humble opinion? Any idea why? Because listen, the Constitution, 1787 or whatever the case may be, it's hundreds of years old. Any idea if you had to guess why the hell this stuff is still set that way, where folks, somebody could have a felony, pardon themselves possibly, and even run the country while behind bars? Any idea why you think that might still be on the books?
I mean, I think the logic behind that is that if a majority of the people in our country feel that someone deserves the chance to run the country, that they should be able to run it, no matter what, because that is what we chose, and also it prevents the idea of political prisoners. So let's say there is some type of agenda to lock somebody up that is politically motivated. This would prevent that from happening.
Yeah, but can you run a state government? Like, can you be a governor, senator, or congressperson while incarcerated? I don't know the answer to that, but we're talking
I,
about
I I
it
don't
from a
know.
presidential level.
I don't know either. I mean, look at George Santos. He's there's really nothing that can make him resign, as far as I
Yeah.
know. He can stay in as long as he wants, even if his constituents or whoever says that they don't want him in there. He can say no. I'm you guys elected me. If you don't want me here, good luck with the next election, and just let me know then.
Might it be time, considering the conversation you or I are partaking in? Do you think it might be time for us to maybe relitigate some of our constitutional principles?
With respect to that, I really don't know because I want to lean no. I want to keep it the way it is only because what if there is a situation where there is a politically motivated agenda to incarcerate someone and now they're
Yeah, I
prevented
mean,
from holding elected office?
I totally get what you're saying, and there is a possibility that there could. I mean, we're talking about the FBI nowadays. There is certainly a chance there could be a politically motivated agenda, but I believe the chances of a politician actually committing a real damn crime is far, far higher than a politically motivated agenda.
It could be, but we've seen crazier things happen. We've seen crazier.
Yeah.
I never thought an insurrection was going to happen, and it sure did. A lot of we've
That was
lived through
a
some.
love fest. Wait a minute, Jose. That was supposedly a love fest.
Supposedly, but that is an interesting way to love people. I've never been loved that way before.
I'm gonna love you on the Capitol steps. All right, Jose. Good conversation. I
Thank
gotta
you
move
so
it on.
much.
That was
Thank you for
hilarious.
letting me up. Enjoy your
Hey,
weekend.
by the way,
Yeah,
don't be a stranger. Come on back anytime.
I will. I'm going to hit follow right now. Thank you so much.
Absolutely a pleasure. Comments. They got the tour, says Martin 8. Let me hold up my tablet so I can read some of your comments. In regards to the protesters getting the tour, that is true. Some of them, particularly QAnon Shaman, when you see the video that was later released, not the January 6th Hearings Committee video, but the stuff shown on Tucker Carlson given to him by McCartney. Lewis, thank you for the hat and mustache. Yeah! Thank you for your generosity. In regards to that, it does look like some of those protesters, particularly QAnon Shaman, was let in and allowed to roam unobstructed. I mean, there's literally video of him surrounded by Capitol police officers and him virtually standing alone, unarmed. So there's no way in hell we can believe that if they wanted this guy, they couldn't have gotten him. And there was not a lot of other protesters around that particular event, so they could have arrested him probably without even a lot of backlash. So we gotta call it for what it is. Fancy Prancy, thank you. Yeah, you guys are good. All right, he was talking to him. Yeah, he was talking to him during the middle of an uprising on the rest of the building. We'll keep it going though. It's just Lewis Clyde. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program. Talking about running the country. I guess my last guest dropped out. We'll keep it moving though. I cannot pronounce the name. Johara, I think it says Johara Joseph. Good afternoon. Welcome in the program. I don't know what's going on with the box. Let's see. Johara, good afternoon.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good. Commander in Chief while also having a felony. You see any issues with that?
Oh, no, I just wanted to give my opinion on Trump as someone who's from Europe. I personally
No.
respect him a lot, to be honest. And
What
I agree
country?
with
What
him.
country in Europe are you from?
I'm
What
from the
country in Europe?
Netherlands. The Netherlands.
Netherlands.
Yeah.
What about President Trump is gathering your respect?
Many things, like a lot of things, but I don't know how
You
to
gotta
explain it.
you gotta be more specific than that.
Well, when it comes to LGBT kind of stuff. Yeah.
So I'm assuming you are not favorable to the LGBT community?
No, it doesn't have to do with that, but yeah, I'm just against certain things, like when it comes to the children, influencing the children and teaching those kind of stuff.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, I
Yeah.
get your point. So I get your point. President Trump has stated if he is reelected as president here in
Mhm.
America, he is going to ask Congress, our governing body,
Uh-huh.
to go by the gender that is on your birth certificate. So that means if someone like me, for
Yeah.
instance, I'm 50 years old, I decided to transition to become a woman,
Mhm.
by his request, they're going to have to continue calling me a man on all of my government documents for the rest of my life. Essentially meaning I cannot transition at all. Do you think that's a good idea?
Yes, I think that's a fair idea, to be honest. Yeah.
But what does doing that have to do with preventing children from being harmed? What does that have to do with kids?
Well, I don't want to share the bathroom with a man that's just gonna put on a wig and that's it. You know? Like everyone can say nowadays, oh, you know what? I'm a woman. Just put on a wig and lipstick and you're a woman. And I don't think that's fair and I don't think that's safe. There has to be a point, you know? It's going too
Right.
far.
Well,
Yes.
let's
It's going too
tackle
far.
let's
Yeah.
tackle your comment in regards to lack of safety in regards to bathrooms and things like that. I don't know what it's like in the Netherlands. I
Yeah.
admit I've never been there, so I'm admitting ignorance. But is there a issue with members of the LGBT community in the Netherlands abusing people, like dressing up as the opposite sex, going in restrooms and abusing people? Because I'm trying to find out, where does the sexual predator portion come from that we're assuming that this community is going to do that?
No, for me, I have nothing against the LGBT community, but for me, it's about how do I explain this? I don't know how to explain it. Wait. Um, it's kind of hard to explain it because English is not my first language.
Well,
So, yeah.
I guess the point I'm trying to make with you is, while saying you are not for the, you're not really have, you said you don't have nothing against the LGBT
No,
community.
I have
But
nothing
then when I
against them.
asked
No.
you, yeah, you said you have nothing against that community. But then when I asked you, do you find it a good idea for laws to be passed that prevent me from transitioning for the rest of my life? You said yes. How could that be not having anything against the community? That literally would prevent the transgender community from existing. That would wipe them out of government existence completely.
No, what I'm against is personally calling me a bird giver. Those kind of
What?
terms and the whole pronouns thing and bird giver thing and cisgender stuff. That's the thing I'm against. But they can transition, they can live their life. I don't mind. But there are just certain things I don't like, and that's it. Because I have my own values and morals,
What?
and I'm religious. So, yeah.
Well, let me say this, and I cannot pronounce it, but Abdinasur Al Amir, appreciate the hat and mustache. I know I'm butchering
But
your
you
name,
know,
but
the,
thank you.
the opinion that I have, a lot of people are against it, maybe because it's considered conservative. But that's just my opinion and my morals and my views.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily questioning your politics, but what I'm saying is, you're saying you have nothing against this community, but what you are in favor of would greatly limit the rights and freedoms of that community.
Well, I have nothing against the community. I even have some friends who are from that community, but I think most of them are becoming a bit too dramatic. And yeah, it's going too far, in my
Give
opinion. They're
me
becoming too extremists. And
give me an example of what you mean by too dramatic.
well, I feel like they act like victims all the time. It's like, oh, me. And when you don't agree with them, they immediately attack you. And I find that childish.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
tired of it. I'm a woman.
Well,
I'm not a
but
bird
think of
giver.
it
I'm a
this way.
woman. And I'm not a cisgender. How do they call it? Cis woman. No, I'm a woman. That's it. I don't want to be called a cis woman. That's it. It's simple as
That
that.
I can understand. But in regards to your comment, they're acting like victims all the time and it's childish. If you're
Yeah.
banning drag queen shows, you don't want them in cartoons, you don't want
No,
them in
I don't
Disney
want it.
movies, you don't want
No,
them in beer cans.
no.
Hold on a second. Hang on a second. What I'm trying to say is this. You don't want them on any media. You don't want them on beer cans. You don't want to see them in movies. You got Trump talking about asking Congress to not allow them to change their gender. To some degree, they are victims. You don't see any of this as victimizing that community?
Not really. I mean, they can do that. I mean, they can have a platform, but they should leave the children alone. Like, when you're 18 and an adult, you can do whatever you want. That's up to you. Everyone has the right to do whatever they want. I have nothing against that. What I'm against is their extremists and the way they make fun of religion, and it's like they only believe in their way, and that's it. They don't want to hear other opinions. They don't want to talk to people with different
Is it,
mindsets, and I'm just
yeah, but
tired of that. Sorry.
when you say they make fun of other religions and they only want to hear their way, in my
Yeah.
humble opinion, it sounds like you describing Christianity. Because all of that applies to Christianity. They only
Not
believe in
not
their way.
only
They don't want to hear.
Christianity, they make fun of every Abrahamic religion. It doesn't matter if it's Christianity, Islam, Judaism, everyone who's considered conservative or religious, they make fun of it. They even make jokes like, oh, go talk to your sky daddy and stuff like that. You know, if you want respect in this world, you have to give respect. And that's how I feel.
Well,
Yeah.
and the point I'm trying to make to you is Christianity does all of the things that you just mentioned. They make fun of other religions. They don't want to hear anything about. I mean, they do all of the stuff you just mentioned.
Yeah,
That's why
they
I
do
said
it.
it sounds like
Honestly,
Christianity.
I personally feel like it's almost a crime to be a straight woman or a straight man nowadays. That's how I feel. Like it's almost something ridiculous by the way they're acting. You know,
Is
it's
it
it's
that
going too
many?
far. Yeah,
Is it that many LGBT and gay people in the Netherlands? I don't even
a
bump into
lot,
these people.
a lot.
All right, fair enough. Well, listen, Johara, I got to
But
move
the
it on. Is
point
this our
was,
first
I
time
like
talking?
Trump, his mindset. I just like his mindset. I agree with him on a lot of things, and that's what's my
Okay.
point. You know.
All right,
So
wait, but before I let you go, I have to ask, are you guys, the Netherlands, I'm not for certain or not, are you guys members of NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization?
yes, we are part of the NATO.
Were you in favor of Trump saying he wanted to break NATO up?
I don't really get involved in that. I just what I know about him, I just seen many positive things. You know, if I was in America, I would vote for him. Period. That's my opinion.
Fair
Yeah.
enough. Come on back through. I think this is our first time talking, right?
Yeah, I will come back for sure. I like your mindset and I like that you're a free thinker and don't mind these people. Do your thing.
Thank you.
Yes?
Appreciate it.
Anyways, I
What
have to
time is
go now. Thank you. I have to
good
go.
talk? Really,
Thank you
really
so
good
much.
talk.
Take care, darling. Bye.
Absolutely, absolutely. We occasionally get folks from overseas. Netherlands. Never been to Europe. I lived in Australia. I've been to New Zealand a few times, but never been to Netherlands. But a good conversation nevertheless. Always, folks, if you enjoy civilized dialogue from both sides of the aisle without any fear of being blocked, banned, or censored, follow the program. Helps out the algorithms. At the end of the day, this is and always will remain a MAGA-friendly program. Nevertheless, liberals are always welcome as well. We don't block, ban, or censor any damn body for their commentary. You don't have to agree with the hosts. We say it at every program. The KKK worships Satan. Hence the grand dragon. The dragon in the Bible is Satan. Bushmaster. The Klan often met at churches. They had a lot of their meetings at churches. They were burning crosses. I don't know. I mean, we know the group was evil. There's no denying that, but I don't really know what their religion of origin is. And that's one reason why, even though I grew up Christian, I've kind of strayed away from religion, because the further back in American history you go, Rich Friday, thank you. Appreciate that. Same, Abdina. The further back in history you go in America, the more religious it was. And the more further back you go in America, not only was it more religious, it was more oppressive. I have to ask this question. Maybe I'm wrong for asking it. Maybe I should shut the hell up. Nevertheless, this is a free speech program. I have to ask, how the hell could those folks, particularly those in the South, read from the same damn Bible we do today and think all of that shit was right? Can someone explain that? There's no way in hell I'm going to believe the founding fathers and about 200 years of Americans were all dumb. They knew what was in the Bible. They know what's on the Ten Commandments, yet somehow they believed what they were doing back then was the right thing to do by God. Crystal, thank you. Thank you, Crystal. I saw that. All right, looking in the comments, or better yet, going back to the box, what does that say? I don't know what the hell. Down, but we'll make it go. Wrong G wrong. They love power. Apparently so. Apparently so. The world is watching. Good afternoon.
Hello, handsome. How are you?
It's a pleasure having you on. By the way, folks, tap the screen. 650. Get us up to 20,000 likes. World is watching. We're asking, if you have a felony, should that prevent you from being commander-in-chief?
In my opinion, yes. Handsome, I'd like to read something.
Sure.
Things that Trump has that Joe Biden does not.
It's not too long of a list, is it?
No, it's only 11, really short 11 things. No big deal.
Let's go.
A booking sheet in New York City.
A what?
Booking. He was booked in New York City by Alvin Bragg, remember?
Right.
34 felony charges Trump has, Joe Biden does not. 19 pending court cases Trump has, Joe Biden does not.
Okay.
Four current investigations going on. Two in New York, one in Georgia, one in Florida. Being held hold on. Go ahead. Yes, sir.
What's he been investigated in Florida for? The
The
documents?
documents. The documents.
Okay. Keep going.
Jack
Keep going.
Smith. Jack Smith.
Yeah, yeah.
Being held liable / confirmed that he is an assayer of E. Jean Carroll and having to pay a fine of $5 million. What else? 7 people under Trump that were jailed. Paul Manafort, Mike Flynn, so on and so forth. Joe Biden hasn't had anybody like that. 7 people unalived at the January 6th because of lies in regards to mass voter fraud. Joe Biden does not have any people who attacked the Capitol and caused any unalivings. A fake university where he had to pay $25 million. Joe Biden didn't do that. Banned from New York City from ever having a charity again and fined $2 million. 26 women coming out saying that Trump, SA'd them. Took money from Saudi Arabia, the 9/11, where 15 of the 19 attackers came from. He signed a $4 billion contract to build Trump Tower and golf courses. Now, we do know that Trump did throw shade to the prince for chopping up the reporter, American. Donald Trump just recently has been banned, not Joe Biden, from the United States Golf Association for cheating.
Is that true?
Yes, that is true. Yes, yes, he has been banned.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, Joe
Wow.
Biden didn't lie about documents like Donald Trump did. And a new audio tape coming out that he knew documents were classified while he's waving Iran documents in the air. You could hear the paper rustling, saying, he knows that these are not declassified. So these are things that Trump has that Joe Biden does not.
Okay.
And his
And
supporters,
even though I lean left,
right?
it would be to be worth my salt. I have to be able to play devil's advocate and push back.
Oh, of
So
course.
we let you give your 11 on Trump. I have to be able to present a few I had while you were speaking on Biden,
Please
such
do.
as he has also been accused of sexual assault. Now, folks were
Ah.
suggesting, yeah,
Yes. Now we have
not only that.
Tara Reid. We have Tara Reid, who is now in Russia. She was just interviewed,
Wait a minute. Hold on.
and
Hang on. Let me continue. I did let you cover, and then you can
you
dispute what
got
you
it.
want to
You got it.
dispute.
You
That's
got it.
fine.
All right.
Also, we cannot have any discussion without the lovely laptop of Hunter Biden. You mentioned Trump being under numerous investigations.
Yep.
President Biden also has his own investigation orbiting around him.
Yep.
We also talked about what's going on in Florida with the documents case. For some
Right.
strange reason, there has been documents living in the garage of President Biden probably since Sanford and Son was on television. We
That is
have to
correct.
bring that up because
Yep.
Biden was the first to go on television and suggest that Trump is criminal for having documents when he didn't know what was in his own damn garage.
That
And
is
then,
correct.
of course, we have to talk about the fact that 13 service personnel has lost their lives because of a botched evacuation by the Biden administration.
That is
Not to
correct.
mention not to mention at the end, some might say one thing that Biden has that Trump doesn't have is dementia. Talk to me.
Okay. All right. Now, start with your first one because you had like 5 of them. So I can't remember. Go with your first one. Tell me what it was. Go with your first
I
one.
talked about Trump being. You mentioned Tara Reid in Russia. Let's
Okay.
go
Now,
with that.
Tara Reid. Tara Reid is in Russia right now. She was being
Okay.
interviewed. That's on YouTube. You can listen to her being talked. She wrote a
Okay.
letter to Vladimir Putin saying that she loves him, she supports him, and America will see the light that he is a great man.
Meaning
Tara
what?
Reid, hold on. Tara Reid's lawyers dropped her because she kept changing her story.
Okay, now I'll take that counterpoint and I will raise you E. Jean Carroll, not remembering the date she allegedly was sexually assaulted and
Right.
having a hell of a lot of money being funded by left wing sources. If you want to talk about somebody not having credibility, E. Jean Carroll has to be in the same conversation, right?
Well, the difference is because, as you and I know, whoever is sexually assaulted, you go through a lot of turmoil. Now, the thing is this: Tara Reid fell back and did not pursue it. E. Jean Carroll pursued it because she had the evidence and the information and people to back up her story. Tara Reid did not.
Perhaps Tara Reid, if we're going to give E. Jean Carroll credit for the fact
Right.
that some victims of assault take time to come forward,
Right.
maybe Tara Reid's day is in the future. She still has
Yeah,
time to come forward, right?
that is correct. And what did Joe Biden say compared to Donald Trump? Joe Biden on video when he was asked by from Morning Joe Vika, she asked him that. He said Tara Reid has the right to be heard. That everybody who has a complaint like that needs to have the right to be heard. She needs her time in court. She needs to be vetted, but nothing happened. But the thing is this: he didn't degrade her. He didn't call her names, and he didn't call her a liar.
And
He
that's
said,
true. That's true. Let me
okay,
let
so
me
there's a
say this.
difference.
This is a great conversation. Unfortunately, I do got to move it. I can't because I want to cover all this with you, but
Okay, now
I got other
let's
folks.
go to the doc. Let's go to your documents. The
I'll
difference
give you this last one. Okay, the documents.
between Trump and Biden and Pence, who has just now been dropped. He didn't do anything. What Pence and Biden did is they contacted the presidential archive saying, "Hey, we have documents. Come to our house." Yes, he did. His lawyers did that. Don't give me that eyeball.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
They
Here's the
both
problem.
did
Now,
that.
I
They
agree
both
with you on Pence.
right.
Biden has documents in his garage that are probably old as we are.
But the
You
thing is
can't
this, hold
come
on.
in 2023.
When they found the document, when they found the documents when he was closing his office at Penn University, hold on. His attorneys called the archives immediately, said to come down and pick them up. They did that, handsome. And then he
Maybe,
opened
maybe
and
here's
then
the
he
problem
opened
I
up
have.
their house. And then he opened up their house and saying, "Come and get them. Come look."
Here's the problem I have with all of this.
Go
Those
ahead.
documents been in your garage since the 1980s, 1970s. You
Right.
want me to give you credit because you found them in 2023?
Hey,
No,
handsome,
no, I
handsome,
can't.
handsome. You want to know a caveat here? The National Archives didn't contact Mike Pence saying,